What if I told you that the most persuasive people in the world don't try to persuade? They don't lead with logic. They don't dazzle with charm. In fact, sometimes they let themselves look weak. They admit uncertainty. They stop mid-sentence and ask, "What do you think?" We think persuasion is about talking, about presenting airtight arguments like a courtroom drama. But neuroscience tells a different story. The more you push, the more the brain pushes back. This isn't just theory, it's biology. Let me start with a scene. Picture two people locked in a debate, passionate, intelligent, well-prepared. One cites studies, charts, peer-reviewed evidence. The other just shrugs and says, "I don't buy it." Who wins? Not the one with the data. There's a term for this, the backfire effect. The more evidence you give someone that threatens their beliefs, the more their brain defends those beliefs. It's not a sign of stupidity, it's a feature of how our brains evolved. When we sense a threat, social, ideological, emotional, we don't open up. We close ranks. This is the paradox of persuasion. So let's flip the script. Imagine you're walking up to a guarded fortress. You want in. Do you pound on the gate and demand to be let through? Or do you walk up slowly, show your empty hands, and wait? The first principle of real influence is this: strategic vulnerability. There was a study at Harvard where negotiators were split into two groups. One group led with their strengths. The other did something counterintuitive. They started by mentioning a weakness. Something small, human, imperfect. Not only did trust increase, but the number of successful deals went up by 32%. Why? Because when someone shows their hands literally or metaphorically, it disarms the brain's defense system. Like Lincoln, who appointed his fiercest critics to his cabinet. Not because he was weak, but because he understood power isn't threatened by honesty. It's built on it. That brings us to the second lever, scarcity. Humans aren't rational creatures. We don't respond equally to gain and loss. We fear loss twice as much. This isn't psychology. It's physics, emotional physics. Prospect theory tells us the pain of losing $100 feels stronger than the pleasure of gaining $100. But what does that mean in real life? It means if you're selling an idea, don't start with the benefits. Start with what someone might miss out on if they ignore it. Our brains are hardwired to scan for danger before reward. One UC Berkeley fMRI study showed that the moment scarcity cues were introduced, phrases like "only a few left" or "limited time," the primal fear centers in the brain lit up like a fire alarm. But here's the catch. People can smell fake scarcity from a mile away. If you use this lever, you better mean it. Trust is hard to earn and almost impossible to rebuild. Now let me show you the third and maybe most powerful force, the curiosity gap. Ever had a song stuck in your head? That's not just catchy melody. That's incomplete information. The brain hates unresolved tension. It craves closure. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect. When we leave something unfinished, our brain keeps circling it like a hawk. It's why cliffhangers work. It's why mysteries make us lean in. Persuaders use this. They don't open with answers, they open with questions. Not vague ones. Sharp, specific, unanswered questions that leave just enough space for the mind to wander. Marie Curie once pitched radioactive research with a single haunting question. What if radiation could heal instead of harm? That mystery didn't just secure funding, it changed history. But here's what most people get wrong. They give away the ending too soon. They try to explain everything up front, and the brain checks out. Influence isn't about providing closure. It's about guiding people through just enough ambiguity that they draw the conclusion themselves. So here's the truth no one wants to admit. Real influence is quiet. It's not about overpowering someone with your voice. It's about creating space. It's about disarming. It's about designing moments so that the other person's brain does the work.
and thinks it was their idea all along. And maybe that's the deepest irony of all. The most effective persuasion doesn't feel like persuasion. So tomorrow, try this. Before you make a request, admit one small flaw, one doubt, one limitation. Then ask for what you need. Watch how fast the resistance melts. And if nothing else, remember this. The most dangerous myth about persuasion is that it starts with speaking. It doesn't. It starts with strategically knowing when to shut up.